Post-nominal letters, also called post-nominal initials. Post-nominal titles are designatory letters, are letters placed after a person's name to indicate that that individual holds a position, academic degree, accreditation, office, military decoration, or honor, or is a member of a religious institute or fraternity. An individual may use several different sets of post-nominal letters, but in some contexts it may be customary to limit the number of sets to one or just a few. The order in which post-nominals are listed after a name is based on rules of precedence and what is appropriate for a given situation. Post-nominal letters are one of the main types of name suffix. In contrast, pre-nominal letters precede the name rather than following it. Types. For a list of types of post-nominal letters, see the following link. List of post-nominal letters. Usage. Order in which qualifications, awards and honors are listed. The order in which post-nominal letters are listed after a person's name is dictated by standard practice, which may vary by region and context. Order of post-nominals in the U.S. In the United States, standard protocol is to list post-nominal letters in the following order: religious institutions, theological degrees, academic degrees, honorary degrees, honors, decorations, professional licenses, certifications and affiliations, retired uniformed service. Active duty services personnel do not use any post-nominals other than those indicating the branch of service. Names are bracketed by the appropriate pre-nominal and post-nominal, e.g. Firefighter John Doe, CFD. Order of post-nominals in the UK. Civil usage in the UK. In the United Kingdom, various sources have issued guidance on the ordering of styles and titles for British citizens, including the Ministry of Justice and Debrets. These are generally in close agreement, with the exception of the position of MP, etc. In the listing, BT, Bart or ESQ, note that in the UK, ESQ may be used to refer to any gentleman in place of the pre-nominal Mr. British orders and decorations. Appointments, i.e. university degrees. According to Debrets, DD, MD and MS degrees are always given. Other doctorates, other medical degrees, and other divinity degrees are sometimes given, and other degrees are seldom shown, with BA and MA never used socially. According to Debrets, Member of Parliament, membership of the Armed Forces. In addition, British citizens who have received honours from Commonwealth countries with permission from the Queen are usually allowed to use the post-nominals of that honour. Academic usage in the UK. The Oxford University Style Guide and the University of Nottingham Style Guide give the alternative ordering: civil honours, military honours, UC degrees in the order: bachelor's, master's, doctorates, postdoctoral, diplomas, certificates, membership of academic and professional bodies. This differs from the civil ordering in that it omits appointments except for QC, includes diplomas and certificates in addition to degrees, merges medical qualifications, fellowships of learned societies, royal academicians, and membership of professional bodies into a single item, and omits membership of the armed forces. Loughborough University gives a very similar ordering, but with appointments, replacing item 3, and higher education awards, replacing items 4 to 6. This restores the appointments section from the civil list emitted by Oxford and Nottingham, although the other differences remain. Nottingham Trent University gives essentially the same ordering as Oxford and Nottingham, but without specifying the order in which degrees should be given. Nottingham Trent, Oxford and Loughborough recommend degree abbreviations be given in mixed case without stops between the letters, as does Cambridge. Imperial College London, however, uses all small caps for post-nominals, where all degrees are shown, as in university calendars. Most universities will give these in ascending order. However, advice on the precise ordering varies. The Oxford University Calendar Style Guide places degrees in the order: bachelor's degrees and other first degrees, master's degrees, doctorates, higher doctorates in order of academic precedence. Degrees at the same level are ordered alphabetically by awarding institution, and multiple degrees from the same institution are grouped, with position determined by the lowest degree in the grouping. Certificates and diplomas are listed after degrees. Oxford recommends giving institution names separated by a space from the degree, not enclosed in parentheses, and that degrees from the same institution be separated by spaces only, with commas between degrees from different institutions. Loughborough University advises listing all higher education awards in ascending order starting from undergraduate. So MPHYs would come before BCL, and postgraduate certificates and diplomas would come between undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. The examples given do not include institution names. In European fraternities, going back to the mid-17th century, today's classical European fraternities such as the German Student Corps are using post-nominal symbols and letters to allow the members to indicate their fraternity membership and honorary positions held in the signature. The German word for the symbol is Zirkel, literally circle, referring to the handwritten symbol representing the fraternity, which is commonly composed by combining letters from an acronym such as Vivat, Crescat, Floriat, followed by the first letter of the fraternity. The word Zirkel became a synonym in the late Middle Ages representing the entire group of close brothers. An example was Schiller's use of the sentence "Schließt den Heiligen Zirkel Dichter" in the original version of the Ode to the Joy. In Australia, the University of Sydney Style Guide and the Australian Government Style Manual give the ordering national and royal honours degrees before diplomas, in order of conferral. Fellowships, then memberships of professional bodies and learned societies. Parliamentary designations. The University of Technology Sydney adds QC between honours and degrees and specifies that honours should be in order of precedence. Etiquette for higher educational qualifications. Higher education qualifications in the US in academia and research. All degrees may be listed. In general, however, it is normal to only list those relevant to the circumstance. For example, if Jane Doe had a BS, MS, and PhD in computer science as well as an MBA, then if working in management in a retail company she would write Jane Doe, MBA, but if working in an IT company she might write Jane Doe, PhD, and if working in academia she could write Jane Doe, BS, MS, MBA, PhD. The Gregg Reference Manual recommends placing periods between the letters of post-nominals. However, the Chicago Manual of Style recommends writing degrees without periods. If post-nominals are given, the full name should be used, without Dr., Mr., Ms., Mrs., or Miss. Other prefixes may be used. Higher education qualifications in the UK. In the UK, it is usual to only list doctorates, degrees in medicine, and degrees in divinity. In particular, when a person has letters indicating crown honours or decorations, only the principal degree would normally be given. The University of Oxford Style Guide advises writers, remember that you do not need to list all awards, degrees, memberships etc. held by an individual only those items relevant to your writing. In an academic context, or in formal lists, all degrees may be listed in ascending order of academic status, which may not be the same as the order in which they were obtained. The Oxford style is to list qualifications by the title, starting with bachelor's degrees, then master's degrees, then doctorates. Postgraduate certificates and diplomas are listed after doctorates, but before professional qualifications, with a similar ordering being used by other universities. In this style, foundation degrees and other sub-bachelor qualifications are not shown. An alternative style is to give all higher education qualifications, starting from undergraduate, or ordered by the level rather than the title. In this style, one might list a certificate diploma of higher education first, then foundation degrees, first degrees at bachelor's level, first degrees at master's level, postgraduate degrees at master's level, and doctorates. In this style, postgraduate certificates and diplomas can be shown either before postgraduate degrees at master's level or before first degrees at master's level. Strictly speaking, both the Debrett's and Ministry of Justice lists only allow for the inclusion of degrees, not non-degree academic awards. In the case of someone who has a substantive doctorate, it is usual to either give doctor as the title or to list the degrees post-nominally, e.g. Dr. John Smith or John Smith, Ph.D., but not Dr. John Smith, Ph.D. Post-nominals may be used with other titles, e.g. Mr. John Smith, Ph.D., Sir John Smith, Ph.D., or the Rev. John Smith, Ph.D. In the case of a BA from Oxford, Cambridge or Dublin who proceeds to the MA of those universities, this replaces the BA and thus only the MA should be listed. Oxford has said that there is no risk of confusion between their MA and earned MAs, as the Oxford MA is denoted MA rather than simply MA. However, Debrett's has advised using just MA to describe someone with an MA from Cambridge. Graduates from British and Irish universities sometimes add the name of the university that awarded the degree after the post-nominals for their degree, either in parentheses or not, depending on preferred style. University names are often abbreviated and sometimes given in Latin, e.g. BA, MA, PhD. A list of abbreviations used for university names can be found at universities in the United Kingdom. Post-nominal abbreviations, where the same degree has been granted by more than one university. This can be shown by placing the names or abbreviations in a single bracket after the degree name, e.g. Sir Edward Elgar, Muse. D.Ld. Honorary degrees, if shown, can be indicated either by hon before the post-nominals for the degree or HC after the post-nominals, e.g. Professor Evelyn Algernon Valentine Ebsworth CBE, PhD, MA, SCD, DCL, HC, FRSC, FRSC, Professor Stephen Hawking Hon. SCD, CH, CBE, FRS. The Oxford University Calendar Style Guide recommends not giving honorary degrees in post-nominals. Etiquette for listing medical qualifications. Medical qualifications in the UK, in contrast to the style for academic qualifications, medical qualifications are listed in descending order, i.e. doctorates, master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, postgraduate diplomas, and qualifying diplomas. Letters indicating doctorates, master's degrees and fellowships of royal colleges are always given, while bachelor's degrees, memberships and qualifying diplomas are only shown for people with no higher qualifications. In all but formal lists, only 3 medical qualifications are normally given. Where someone holds qualifications in multiple fields, they are normally given in the order: medicine, surgery, obstetrics, gynecology and other specialities. These are followed by qualifying diplomas and other diplomas. Note that the academic styles do not have a separate section for medical qualifications, so if following one of these medical degrees should be listed with other degrees, medical diplomas with other diplomas, and fellowships and memberships of royal colleges with other fellowships and memberships of professional bodies. Etiquette for listing fellowships or memberships of learned societies, royal academies or professional institutions. Learned societies, royal academies and professional institutions in the UK. In the UK there is, according to Debrett's, no defined order of precedence for placing designatory letters for fellowships of learned societies and memberships of professional bodies within the respective groups. For learned societies it is usual to list the most important first, or if this is not clear then in order in which fellowship was granted, or if this is not known then in alphabetical order. Only post-nominals indicating honorific fellowships are normally used socially. For professional bodies it is usual to list those most relevant to a person's profession first, or those most relevant to the particular circumstances. It is common to omit fellowships and memberships that are not relevant in a given situation. In the past, Debrett's counseled that, while there was no well-defined order, fellowships of learned societies should, strictly speaking, be listed in order of their establishment, and that some held that precedence should be given to societies with royal charters. Debrett's notes that although royal academicians are listed after fellows of learned societies, they do not yield to them in precedence. In practice the two lists do not coincide. It should also be noted that the distinction between a learned society and a professional body is not well defined. Many organizations claim to be both learned societies and professional bodies. However, it is clear from both the Ministry of Justice and Debrett's that only fellowships of learned societies are listed, while fellowships and memberships may be listed for professional bodies. Examples of post-nominal letters. A Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire is authorized to use the post-nominal KBE, e.g., Sir Terry Wogan KBEDL. A Fellow of the Royal Society uses the post-nominal FRS, and a Fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh FRSE, e.g., Professor Malcolm Longyear CBE, FRSE. A Doctor of Philosophy may use the post-nominal PhD or DPhil, or the pre-nominals Doctor or Doctor, e.g., Indiana Jones could be styled Dr. Henry Walton Jones, Jr. or Henry Walton Jones, Jr. PhD, but not Dr. Henry Walton Jones, Jr. PhD. A postgraduate diploma is indicated by the post-nominals PGDIP. Someone with a BA, MA and postgraduate diploma could write BA PGDIP-MA or BA MA PGDIP. Commonly seen post-nominals for religious orders include OFM for the Franciscans, SJ for the Jesuits, e.g., George Bergoglio, S.J., and DOP for the Dominicans. Most other Catholic religious institutes have specific post-nominal letters. A BA graduate of the Open University could indicate the university from which they got the degree using BA or BA Open. Someone with a BSc from Cardiff, an MSc from London and a PhD from Cardiff could write BSc PhD card, MSc Lund, or BSc card, MSc Lund, PhD card. Alternatively, they could choose to omit the lower degrees and simply write PhD card. If not indicating the awarding universities, they would write BSc, MSc, PhD, or simply PhD. A member of the British Parliament may use the post-nominals MP, e.g., Caroline Lucas MP. Note that post-nominals MP may not be used once someone ceases to be a Member of Parliament, including after Parliament has been prorogued for an election. A peer who is a member of the Privy Council may use the post-nominals (PC) for non-peers. The pre-nominal Right Honourable, abbreviated RT Hon, identifies them as members. Thus, the RT Hon David Cameron MP, but the RT Hon Earl Grey KGPC. Chartered status is shown before the relevant professional membership, e.g. Professor, Dame Carol Jordan DBE FRS Fins TP, where DBE indicates Dame of the Order of the British Empire, FRS Fellow of the Royal Society, CPHYs Chartered Physicist, and Fins TP Fellow of the Institute of Physics, the awarding body for CPHYs. In the UK, someone who earned a BA, MA and BSc in that order would normally write BA, BSc, MA, but in Australia they would normally write BA, MA, BSc. The ordering of post-nominal letters is only a guideline and may be changed according to preference, e.g. Dr. Herman Hauser Freng CBE CPHYs Fins TP reverses the ordinary ordering of Freng and CBE in an announcement from the Prime Minister's office, with the normal ordering being used for other people elsewhere in the release. Reverend Canon Mark Tanner MA, BAMTH demonstrates 1. The use of to indicate an Oxbridge MA, 2. The use of to indicate an honours degree, 3. Ordering of degrees by date gained.